This meeting of the Mahwah Board of Education is open to members of the public to be physically present. Members of the public that attend will be asked to follow the same procedures as all other visitors to our schools. Those procedures can be found on the agenda page of our website. Additionally, the board meeting will be live streamed for viewing purposes only. Anyone wishing to view the meeting may do so via Zoom. Webinar ID for this meeting is 831-8863-4579, and the required password is 617689. I call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Dr. Morthy,
Here.
Mr. D. Silva Jr.,
Here.
Mr. Kazmarsky, Mr. Gallo,
Here.
Mrs. Divanero, Mr. Denise,
Here.
Mr. Hughes,
Here.
Mrs. Ting Jansen,
Here.
Mr. Coplin.
Here.
Thank you and welcome. Ms. Hiramoto. Hiramoto, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and welcome. This is, I think, your first board meeting with us.
Yes, that is correct.
Thank you very much.
you.
All right. Adequate notice of this agenda for this meeting has been provided to the Ridgewood News and the Record, specifying that the Mahwah Board of Education will meet on October 29th, 2025 in the Administrative Offices, 60 Ridge Road, Mahwah, New Jersey. A copy was filed with the Township Clerk. All right, salute to the flag. I will lead the salute today. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we do need a brief executive session in the beginning, probably about 10 minutes. So I need a motion to recess to exec. Mr. Coplin, second by Mr. Gallo. We should be back shortly. Thank you very much. Need a motion to reconvene the public action meeting. Mr. Hughes, second by Ms. Ting Jansen. All right, agenda questions. Please limit your questions at this time to resolutions under new business on this agenda. As a matter of fairness, you are asked to limit your questions to no more than one and your remarks to no longer than 3 minutes. If you are here representing a group, please identify yourself, the group, and your position in the group. If you are here as an individual, please give us your name and address. This section of public participation will be limited to 15 minutes. All right, I need a motion to open the meeting to the public. Mr. De Silva, second by Mr. Gallo. We have a butterfly who's joined us for the meeting today, looks like. Oh, is that it's a moth, okay. I thought butterfly sounded better, yeah, okay. All right, we are officially open to the public.
Good evening.
Can you tell us what resolution under new business?
Well, actually, I don't even have a question.
Okay.
I just have a comment, rather. So I'm here, first of all, my name is Atif Khatib. I'm here on behalf of Muslims. I just wanted to say thank you for coming out. We had a meet and greet last week, as we do, as we've had in the past, to meet the candidates who were running, and despite being unopposed, they did come out, Dr. Murthy and Mr. Hughes. Thank you for coming out, and we had a great discussion. The board.
If it's a follow-up to that, was it a follow-up to the conversation? Because then that might be more appropriate at the end of the meeting during public comment.
Sure.
Unless there's a resolution specifically under new business.
It was just a thank you note, and there were a couple of follow-ups to that, but that's not coming from me. That's going to come from some of my colleagues, and they will do that at the end. So, thanks for hearing me, and thank you.
Thank you for the thank you. Appreciate it. But we'll hold any further comments till public comment, if you don't mind. Thank you very much. Okay, motion to close the meeting to the public. Mr. Copland, second by Mr. Hughes. No Mahwah student representative? Okay. Our Mahwah student representative report will be done by Dr. DeToro this evening.
It's not going to have as much pizzazz as the high school student. I'm going to do my best. I'll read it word for word what they said.
Okay, excellent.
So it's true to their report.
And there will be a little overlap.
Yes,
As
as usual.
Yep.
Right, okay. Okay. First bullet point. The spirit rally went really well. It was unscripted, and we felt like a lot of kids got into it and found it very entertaining. Senior captain Scotty Rosenblatt got the Young Man of the Year award for the Super Football Conference. The cheerleaders won first place at North Hunterdon cheerleading competition. This is their second competition of the year. The Habitat for Humanity Club helped out with the Mahwah Run, which I'll talk about in a little bit, and it was great for the community. The girls' tennis team is the Patriot League champions. Marching band was the finale band at the North Jersey Band Festival, and Mr. Bittner conducted all 17 bands, and he also led America the Beautiful at the end. Sports are starting to wrap up and doing well. The boys and girls soccer team are doing well. Right now, there's the 8th grade open house at the high school. At the high school. We would like to congratulate any student who received an award at the Scholastic Awards Night this past Monday. And Thursday, which is tomorrow, is our externship capstone presentation ceremony for the Summer Internship and Externship Awards. I think everyone got an invite for that, and hopefully you can attend. That is from our high school student rep. Now you can dismiss me.
Thank you very much. I will go Mr. DeToro
That's
for
great.
that one,
Yes.
or Mike for that
Perfect.
one. Thank you very much. And now our superintendent's report,
Yes,
Dr. DeToro.
As you can see, and I just want to thank the administrators who are in the audience right now. Every year we are obligated to report on various data sets that we receive specific to standardized testing. And we have we have representatives here, Mr. Jarvis and Mr. Sheik, who are going to come up and talk to us about the district testing presentation.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Dennis Jarvis. I'm the supervisor of science for grades 6 through 12, as well as integrated design and engineering for grades 9 through 12. I'm joined tonight by my colleague, Mr. Faisal Sheik, who's our supervisor of mathematics for grades 6 through 12. We're here tonight to report out on our district testing results for the spring of 2025. Before we do so, we wanted to extend a big thank you to the board, to our central office, to our parents, our families, and our students for allowing us to engage in this work to get the best possible result for our students, and certainly for the students to put forth their best effort to try to do as well as they can and show the rewards of all the good work they put in. So the two tests that we're going to report out on tonight are the New Jersey Student Learning Assessments, as well as the Dynamic Learning Maps. The New Jersey Student Learning Assessments, or the NJSLA, was administered in the spring of 2025. It is assessing our students on the New Jersey Student Learning Standards and their proficiency towards those standards. It assesses our three content areas of English Language Arts, mathematics, as well as science. In English Language Arts, it assesses in grades 3 through 9. In mathematics, it's 3 through 9 as well. It becomes more differentiated from 7, 8, and 9, depending upon math placement for our students, whether it be Algebra 1, Geometry, or Algebra 2. And in science, we assess at grades 5, 8, and 11. That follows the natural breaks and our standards bands, which we'll speak more to in a little bit. Our dynamic learning maps test and assess our students with our most significant challenges. Students, basically, they have to participate in an alternative assessment, essentially. And that also assesses in English Language Arts, mathematics, as well as science. We're going to start out tonight speaking to the dynamic learning maps. The DLM, as we said, basically assesses our students who will have our most significant cognitive challenges. Students that are normally in specialized programs who aren't exposed to on-grade level standards. Essentially, it meets them where they are. So essentially what we do is we assess them what we're going to call our essential elements, which are our New Jersey Student Learning Standards, but reduced in depth and breadth to meet our students where they're at in terms of developmental abilities. Okay? It is also assessing in grades 3 through 8, with grade 11 as well for science, and assesses in math as well as ELA. We have 4 ratings for our students. We have emerging or approaching, okay, and then at target or advanced. Certainly, as we'll speak to with all our other assessments tonight, at target and advanced, the top 2 levels, are always our goal in trying to improve that in the results for our students. This next slide speaks to the number of actual assessments that were given in ELA, mathematics, as well as science. We fleshed it out this way so you guys can see that not every student takes every assessment, so we wanted to make sure that we were as detailed as we could be so you can see what we're speaking to. This measures students who are also in district as well as out of district placements. So as you can see in ELA and mathematics, we had 19 of those assessments given. In science, we had 11, with the predominant number coming from grade 8 and grade 11. You'll see in grades 3, 4, and 6, 7, we do not administer the test in those grades, thus the gray boxes. This slide represents the number of our students who are at target or at advanced, okay, essentially passing the DLM. Okay? At first glance, it doesn't really jump off at the screen at you, but when you look and consider the percentages of our students who are at target or advanced, you really should note that this is basically equivalent to, if not in excess, of what our students performed at in terms of our NJSLA results. Okay? So that speaks to the quality of the interventions that we have in place. They are working for our students. We are demonstrating proficiency with our students in these specialized programs. Okay? And our next slide, I'm going to speak to those interventions. Very simple formula. Our child study team works very closely with our teachers, and they develop these specific learning goals, ultimately developing specific intervention strategies for individualized students. Okay? We use internal data as well as our DLM data to help develop these specific learning goals. Okay? We use other assessments in-house like DIBELS and F&P to garner some of that information. And we also equip our teachers with the best possible skills to help our students, such as Edmark and Orton Gillingham. So we ensure that our teachers have in hand the skills and the programs that they need to best meet the needs of our students and get the best results from our students. Now I'll shift to science results. Science was also administered in the spring of 2025. Science assesses what we call our next generation science standards, or our New Jersey student learning standards. They go hand in hand, they're basically interchangeable. Okay? And these assessments measure what are called our 3 dimensions of science instruction. Our disciplinary core ideas, which is our content, our science and engineering practices, which are, for a long time been referred to as our soft skills, data analytics, mathematical computation, that sort of thing. And then our cross-cutting concepts, which essentially are concepts that you see within any realm of science, whether it's life science, chemistry, biology, as well as outside of that, mathematics, English, you name it. Okay? Its primary focus is our 3 basic content areas: life science, earth and space, as well as physical science. Okay? Again, we test in grades 5, 8, and 11 because those follow the natural break in the standards bands from 3 through 5, then 6 through 8, and finally 9 through 11. A couple key differences you'll see with this assessment, as you won't see with mathematics and ELA. We have a scale score of 100 to 300. That differs from our, the following 2 tests that we'll speak to tonight. We also have a 4-point performance levels. Okay, did not meet expectations, partially met expectations and exceeded. Obviously, again, we look to have our students at that level 3 and 4 and try to improve on that every year. Our next slide here speaks to our percentage of students who fell at each one of our levels. 3 and 4 you see in the blue on the right-hand side of the screen, 1 and 2 in the red on the left-hand side of the screen. Okay. I want to draw your attention to grade 5. We have some points of pride here. We have some things that we certainly need to work on. Grade 5 is definitely a point of pride. Okay. The 45% you see in the blue represents a 12% increase from the year prior. That is monumental. Okay. That speaks to the quality instructional strategies our teachers are implementing down in K-5, as well as we rolled out a new science program in Savas Learning this past year. Okay? We made a commitment to putting more time in science instruction, a significant amount of more time. I was lucky enough to be on the committee to pick that program. The teachers are doing it with fidelity, and I think it speaks to that work where you have that magic combination of more time, quality instruction, as well as a new program. Right? Next, we'll look at grade 8. Grade 8 is a slight decline from the year prior. Okay? Rest assured, we're looking very closely at that. We're looking at the data. We're constantly looking at our instructional strategies to improve on those, our Tier 1 interventions, as well as our Tier 2 interventions, our small group instruction. Okay? We're working towards it. A couple slides from now, I'll show you that we do have some quality results that are coming from that, but we certainly need to improve on that. We're not satisfied with that. We want that to improve. Okay? Grade 11 represents a 4% increase from the year prior. So we're very happy with that rebound and that positive momentum going forward, and we look to build on that this year. Our next slide here is Mahwah in blue on the left-hand side compared to our state results on the right-hand side. As you can see, and this is now 4 years of consistent data that we've seen from the state in red, that pattern has been pretty consistent. We basically have the goalposts on either side with that dip in the middle across the state in terms of the middle school assessment. We're happy to say we have consistently outperformed the state significantly, okay? And those gaps remain constant, and they're slightly improving every year between us and the state. This next slide shows the 4-year progression from 2022 on at grade 5, 8, 11. Obviously, point of pride, you look on the left-hand side of the screen, that grade 5, that huge jump we made, we're looking to replicate that across the board in grade 8 and grade 12. Okay? We're moving in the right direction. The work we're doing is making a difference. Okay? This slide, I think, speaks more so to the intervention work and the quality that our teachers are doing with the instructional strategies they're implementing in a classroom. Okay? This is our Mahwah subgroup data. Okay? If you look up here, what this represents is, on average, an 8.2% increase across the board. None of these levels dropped, they all increased. As high as 20% in 2 or more races, to a low of 1%, okay, in our white category. But we have an increase of 5% in our IEP category, 8% in our Hispanic and Latino. Across the board, we've demonstrated increases. Okay? Our interventions that I'm going to speak to on our next slides really are interventions across the board. Given the state of our scores, we wanted to make sure that we're hitting on every single student and moving every student forward. So with our K-5 intervention strategies, obviously I spoke to the fact that we brought in Sabas Learning, our new science program. We really committed to increasing the amount of time in science instruction. Clearly, you can say that's paid dividends. We're looking to build on it. That bodes well for us, for our 6th grade students now, who are coming in with a much stronger science background, as well as every successive grade that's coming through the elementary schools. Okay? The elementary has a real commitment to increasing nonfiction text readings and also embedding those in those text-dependent questions that they're going to see on the NJSLA. When it comes to our 6-12 intervention plan, this is where, I can speak to this personally. We have layered in a lot of amazing Tier 1 interventions. We're working very, very strongly on our Tier 2 to try to reach full implementation by the end of this year. We are leaning very heavily on our data teams and the information we get back from our Lincoln benchmarks, analyzing that for curriculum gaps, addressing those curriculum gaps, and making sure that we're delivering the best possible science education to our students. Okay? We constantly reanalyze our in-house assessments to make sure that we're meeting the needs of our students, that we're meeting the needs of what they're going to be assessed on with those 3-dimensional questions. We've layered in targeted reviews this year, this past year, problem-solving strategies. When speaking to our subgroup data, the purposeful grouping that we're doing in our Tier 2 small group instruction. Okay, we're seeing the benefits of that already. Okay, our in-house data is leading us in the right direction. We're very happy with that. Okay, we're not satisfied overall. We're moving in the right direction, and these are the tools that we're going to use to do that. Okay. And with that, I'm going to turn over our presentation to Mr. Sheik.
Thank you. So I will be talking about the NJSLA mathematics results. So as Mr. Jarvis was saying, for mathematics, we assess all grades from 3 to 9, unlike in science with those selected grades. Our scale score is also different from 650 to 850, and our performance levels are 5 levels instead of 4 in science. So we will be focusing on those students that meet or exceed expectations, levels 4 and 5, and those students that have not met expectations or approached expectations, levels 1, 2, and 3. Alright, so here we have our NJSLA results from grades 3 through 9. Something to especially celebrate is our 3rd grade results with their high percentage in meeting expectations. So especially to know that 82% of our 3rd graders have met or exceeded expectations is something that we are really happy to see, and we want to see that kind of success in all grade levels. We're also really happy to see our geometry students really meeting the expectations that we've set forth. I will be speaking in further detail as to what our plan is for the remaining grade levels and what we're doing to address those needs. Okay, so here we have the state comparison with Mahwah. As you can see, we are well above the state averages. One thing to focus on again is that we're really happy that there's a significant difference between the state average and our average in grade 3, as well as in geometry and in algebra 2. Well, one more thing. One thing to also note here is that the grade 8 percentage, as it is low across the state, it is something to note that it does not include all 8th graders, because we do have 8th graders that take Algebra 1 and they take the Algebra 1 assessment, and we also have 8th graders that take geometry. So that 8th grade percentage does not include all 8th graders, which is why it is designated the number of students that took that assessment versus the other assessments. So you can see that we are focusing on what needs to be done with our 8th graders, but also continuing to differentiate for our students and making sure that they're placed in an area where they can excel, and we can really focus on those 8th graders that need that support in a smaller setting. Alright, so here we have our year-to-year comparison. Something to take note again is that the year-to-year does not represent the same students. It's different students compared to different students. So as you can see in grade 3, the light blue is results from 2024 versus the dark blue are most recent scores. Again, we're really happy to see that increase in grade 3, as well as geometry and algebra 2. That success in algebra 2 is consistent. And we're, again, creating plans and really analyzing our data to see where we can continue that growth in all areas, and I'll speak to that in further detail in the next few slides. Alright, so this is something we really take seriously, is the cohort comparison, because this does represent the same students over time. So the first cluster, as you can see in second grade there is no assessment, but in grade 3 and then how they perform in grade 4. The middle cluster, our most recent 5th graders, how they did in 4th grade and 3rd grade. And then the last cluster, our most recent 6th graders compared to how they did in 5th grade and 4th grade. One common misconception is that seeing this decline, some people think means that they're losing math understanding, but that is not true. The rigor is changing, the rigor is increasing. And of course, this is not something we're satisfied with at all, and we want to see exactly what we can do to prevent this trend from continuing. Alright, here we have the cohort comparison for grades 7 and 8. Really happy to see that increase in grade 7. And for grade 8, it's staying in the same area. And again, while we're happy that it's maintaining and we're not having a significant decline, we really want to have an upward trend moving forward. Alright, here we have our subgroup data. Some important things to highlight here. We showed significant growth with our Black and African American group. Last year we had 29% proficient, and now we are at 41% proficient. So a 12% increase in that subgroup is something we're really happy to see. Also, in our economically disadvantaged group, we went from 27% proficient to 34% proficient. So as we are meeting the needs of all our students, we're really happy to see that it's also showing growth in these subgroup areas as well. Alright, here we have our intervention plan for the elementary level. So we first started with implementing the Ready Math curriculum, a new Ready Math curriculum across grades K through 5. Last year we only piloted the program in kindergarten and in select sections through grades 1 through 5, but now we have it across the board in all sections, and we're really happy to see how the students are really taking into this program, because it really enforces conceptual understanding and discourse. Because once we have that conceptual understanding, then we have a deeper understanding of the math material, and hopefully will show growth in all areas for our students. We also are continuing to use our iReady program, which is our diagnostic program that teachers use to inform their instruction. We take that test, as you know, 3 times a year. So teachers can use that data to really see where those students need individualized support, and they can provide it in various times of the day. Especially in small group instruction during the class time, and also, as you can see, during the WIN period. So that WIN period is very significant. At the elementary level, it's a designated time of the day where there is no new instruction. Students are either being remediated or enriched based on where they're placing in their math proficiency. We also have interventionists pushing in and pulling out through most classes to really give that individualized support to those students that need it most. Push in meaning the interventionist goes into the classroom and works with a small group. Pull out meaning they pull out students during their math time to really give them that additional support. We also are happy to continuing the tutoring program in grades 3 through 5 that again provides additional support for students that need it most. At the secondary level, we are also using iReady, and in addition, in the high school, we use Linkit as a benchmark. Again, these assessments are formative for teachers to use to inform their instruction, and really take into account that data when they're individualizing their teaching with those students. We're also really making sure and ensuring all supervisors, but especially in math and ELA, to implement small group instruction in all sections, grades 6 through 12. There is a MyPath program at the middle school level that also provides individualized support for students. One thing I'm really happy to celebrate is the geometry standards and the results they've shown. Last year, I had noticed there were very significant gaps in the geometry domain in grades 6 through 8, and when we revised our curriculum to make sure the geometry standards were embedded throughout the year, we've seen no low proficiency in that specific domain in grades 6 through 8. So that's really working, and we're continuing to revise our curriculum. We're also under a curricular review in the secondary level, so we're also looking at math programs that can continue to support the needs of all of our students. And then lastly, I do want to also highlight that we have also revised our Tier 3 programming. So Tier 3 represents the students that need our most support and are showing proficiency 2 or more grade levels below to where they should be. So we've revised the way in which we select those students and also what we do with those students when we give them that support class in addition to their general math class. Okay, now I'll be talking about English language arts. So similar to math, it is assessed grades 3 through 9. The scale score is also 650 through 850, and again, 5 performance levels. We will be focusing on 4 and 5, meeting and exceeding expectations, versus those that are not meeting expectations, levels 1, 2, and 3. Okay, here we have our results from grades 3 through 9. Again, really happy to see grades 3 and grade 7 showing significant proficiency, and we want to see that across the board. And again, we have plans in place to ensure that that growth can continue. Here's the state comparison. The Mahwah being on the right, state on the left. Again, very happy to see that differential in 3rd grade and in 7th grade, and we want to see that difference from the state across grade levels. So we are not satisfied with just being above the state average. We want to be significantly above. Here we have our year-to-year comparison. Again, reminder, this does not represent the same students over time, but it does represent the same grade over time. Again, really happy to see that jump in 3rd grade. Again, in 7th grade, again, looking into and analyzing the data to see where we can show improvement across grade levels. I'll be speaking about that plan in the next few slides. Here we have our cohort comparison. So again, now we are at a place where we're looking at the same students over time. Grade 2 is not assessed, but in grade 3, and how much they improved by the time they were in grade 4. That's the kind of trend we would like to see. That maintaining trend in that middle cluster is something that we're looking into, and then that last cluster as well. Here is the grades 6 through 9 cohort comparison. As you can see in that first cluster, that upward trend is something that we strive for, and we are, again, not satisfied with what we see in the middle and last cluster right there. Okay, here's our subgroup data. Again, making sure that we're using all of our intervention plans to support all students and making sure that we can continue to show growth in these subgroup areas. Okay, our intervention plan for the elementary level. We've refined our writing units to make sure that the informational writing skills and reading skills are enhanced. Again, we're using the iReady diagnostic to inform our instruction, so students take that diagnostic 3 times a year, and teachers use that information to inform their teaching and also how they are working with students in small groups. Continuing to work in small group instruction. We have ELA vocabulary strategies in place that are cross-curriculars, and we make sure to emphasize how they connect in science and social studies. We are again taking advantage of that win period, that 1 period where there is no new instruction, and there's that additional time provided at the elementary level for teachers to meet with students for additional support or enrichment. We have our tutoring program from grades 3 and through 5, and content-specific vocabulary, again, as I mentioned earlier, and Tier 3 supports as well. So revising how we are supporting our students at that most vulnerable level. We're really happy to use our reading specialists for that. Okay, at the secondary level, grades 6 through 12, continuing to use iReady, MyPath, and also link it for the high school to inform our instruction. Continuing to work with small group instruction and revising our literary text to make sure that we can really tie in our skills to those literary texts to make sure that students are not only reading rich material, but really analyzing it at a deeper level. We've also revised our Tier 3 programming for ELA, just like we did in math, to make sure that we have those support classes in place, and revising how we select those students, in addition to what we're doing when we do have those students in those classes. Okay, and that concludes our presentation.
Thank you. Any questions?
Less a question than, I guess, just kind of a comment. You know, that presentation was kind of concerning, I think, to me. I know, you know, we say when we look at the cohort, which that's the part that we always talk about, right? That we want to look at the kids and follow them and see if there's actually any increase or decrease as opposed to looking at, you know, different cohorts of kids. And when we see that, and we see that decline, and we say, well, if there's a decline because the rigor is more, well, our kids aren't keeping up. So the rigor is, that shouldn't be the reason why I see a decline. And it's great that we're above state level. State level is deplorable. I would hope that we're above the state level, except for 8th grade math, we're not above the state level. I guess the concern that I have, and without going back and looking at the you know, past presentations, the intervention plans sound to me, and again, maybe I'm gonna just sound that way to me, maybe there's big differences, but they sound to me to be the same every year that we see this presentation. And you know, when we're seeing the results that we're seeing, and I you know, the intervention plans seem to be consistent, that's concerning to me.
Okay, a couple things. Along the lines of the performance compared to the state, you're absolutely right. All of our grade levels, except for 8th, and we provided clarification on that population doesn't represent our entire 8th grade population.
No, but I was talking about where that population is below the state population. They have the same thing, right? The state.
That's incorrect. So let me explain to you what 8th grade is. So there are schools that do provide algebra and the other offerings for the accelerated students, and then there are other districts who don't. So there are districts who have a higher population of students who are taking those assessments. We've expanded our offerings to students, and we continue to extend those offerings. Needless to say, I think both gentlemen were very clear and honest along the lines of our points of praise, but also the things that we have to address as it pertains to the intervention plans. The intervention plans from last year to this year, there's a lot of similarities, but from previous years, there's not similarities. Specific to the small group instruction supports, you're absolutely right. They've been in place for the past 2 years. This is our second full year of implementation. At different levels, there's different levels of implementation. I totally agree with you. There's a lot of things that we can be happy about, and there's a lot of things that we have to really be honest with ourselves and say, what do we need to do next? What I can tell you, the board, the public, is that currently, and I know that there was a lot of information specific to what we're doing, when you look at instruction and you look at proficiency, there's 2 buckets that you need to really focus on along the lines of impact of affecting change. The instructional side and the curricular side. On the instructional side, to speak to the point of the continuation year over year, we brought in small group instruction last year, and that really, when all the buzzwords out there in education, you talk about differentiation, that's where you're going to affect the most change. And in order to do that, instead of delivering to an entire class, you have to understand the population you have in front of you, and you address the kids where they are and build those gaps. That implementation for me, in full disclosure to everybody on this board, is a lot farther along than I expected at the K-12 initiative. When you look at K-12 initiatives, they don't move as fast as is happening here. Still a lot to be done, but the implementation percentage-wise across the district is significantly high. That being said, another buzzword that we talk about of instructional practice is data-informed instruction. Not just going with your gut, understanding exactly what this looks like. I can tell you guys with the utmost honesty that we have implemented data-informed instruction across K-12. This test is one of our measures, but last year we brought in a diagnostic assessment that's actually normed. And what I can tell you, and I know that we spoke to the instructional committee about it, across every single grade level, across every single subject area, significant growth took place across the board. Again, not discounting what we have up here, we have to still look at it. The second piece of change is the curricular side of change. We were not happy with our math results. And in the elementary level, we made a concerted effort to do a curricular review. We did that at the elementary level. Last year, as they said, we did kindergarten was full implementation of Ready Math, and there were pilots. This year, we're full implementation of Ready Math. What I can tell you is that with our assessment tool, our iReady assessment tool, we were very pleased with the results in those across the board, but in those specific classes, we saw increases that we were extremely happy with. It's my hope that that continues for a K-5 across the board. So that's just that. I know that Mr. Sheet spoke about a curricular review for the middle school level. And then I'll get into science in a second. The math curriculum is up for review. We have to take a hard look at that to see if that program is providing the things that we need aligned with the state standards. Now, again, and I don't want this to be viewed as excuse making, because I was very honest with you on we have to get better. Even if you look at the state scores, when you're talking about the cohort analysis, you spoke about that, the state scores decline across grades. It's not consistent of percentage of proficiency across. You would think it would be, it's not. It goes from 3rd grade down to 4th grade, down to 5th grade, and then there's spikes in between. So I struggle with getting any sort of correlation between that. But that being said, we still have to be very hard in our assessment, or thoughtful in our assessment, about what are we doing instructionally and curricularly at the middle school level. That's going to happen. For science, which I know Mr. Jarvis shared, we're very happy with the science scores at the elementary level, specific to 5th grade science, along the lines of the increase. There's still more work to be done, but 12% increase year over year is something that we can't forget. That's because of a curricular review that we took part in last year, and a scheduling adjustment that we did in the past year. We're doing the same thing with science because, and not to bore everyone with the details, but I want everyone to be eyes wide open. With science, with the three grade band at the middle school, our curriculum does not spiral. Our curriculum is isolated with earth science, life science. I'm probably getting it not in the right order, but earth science, life science, physical science.
Life, earth, and space.
Space. That's challenging for students to retain information from 6th grade and 8th grade. So we've been talking about looking at our curricular offerings as opposed to it being in isolation. This is what we're getting in 6th, this is what we're getting in 7th, this is what we're getting in 8th. We have to really be thoughtful about what are the schools, even though you're absolutely right, across the state, the scores are not a point of pride. I didn't say that, but I'm not going to disagree with you.
Find another word.
But the fact of the matter is it's something that we need to continue to improve. So we need to look at neighboring districts that are better than us. Obviously not at the standard when you're looking at 80 or 90%. I would challenge you to find a district that's at that for science. But that being said, there's always opportunities. So I'm happy to report that at the secondary level, those curricular reviews are going to be taking place this year, while simultaneously really hyper-focusing on instructional reviews. So we're not being, I don't want you to feel, which I'm glad you brought up, I don't want you to feel like we're being complacent in our efforts of making sure that the kids are getting the best that they possibly can get, whether it's instructionally or curricularly, but I don't want to discount the efforts that the teachers are doing in the classroom, because they have been tremendous with their shift along the lines of understanding that we need to have all the information that we can to be attentive to the kids in front of us. The work is not done. We will continue to look at it, and I'm very hopeful for what this is going to look like in the future.
Thank you.
You go first.
So equally dissatisfied with the gaps in some, and I know they're consistent. And I know we're doing better, I hear you. I'm just curious what else we can do. And it's not for you to answer today, but just in the future. The other thing I was curious on, we talk about interventions, but I'm curious on the long-term impacts on the cohorts as they move forward. Do the interventions we do in year one really impact on the next year and the next year so that we need less? Like, what else can we do that's different? Because every child learns differently. So I'm just curious how we measure that, right? Because I hear the tutoring, I hear you're doing the pull-ins and pull-outs, but what else can we do? Because there seems to be, as they move up, continuous challenges.
So as Dr. Turturro was saying, sorry, do you wanna, as Dr. Turturro was saying, that we are using our data, but the one thing I want to say is for the cohort comparison and seeing how they're going year after year. When we're pulling students in those small groups, we're addressing needs from a year prior, 2 years prior sometimes, even at, especially at the math level I can speak to. I have teachers looking at what they're currently teaching, looking at their students and where they are currently in that domain or in that topic, and then finding prerequisite skills that match that. So if someone's teaching 6th grade, are they addressing 5th grade needs? So then that cohort doesn't continue to decline, that we're filling in those gaps where we can, so then by the time they go to the next grade level, there's less gaps. So in that regard, we are doing what we can to make sure that cohort decline does not decline further. Yeah.
Not to belabor the point, there's two different things to address with your question. One is what's happening in the classroom, at the classroom level, and what's happening when they talk about pulling out of the classroom. The tier 3 supports that we just started talking about along the lines of the focus last year and into this year, there's been a tremendous amount of work with those specialists, whether it's at the elementary level or the secondary level. Those specialists are equipped with a number of different data points that the grade level teachers or the classroom teachers do not have. That addresses what you're referring to along the lines of we're not just putting a Band-Aid on it and hoping for the best for the next year. It's we're getting to the root of the struggle and building that foundation so that's not going to be something that's going to be a point of issue in the future years. So that's at the tier 3 level. That's with our neediest students. At the tier 2 level, the best part that I can share with you is this is one moment in time, one time a year. The assessment tool that we have currently, iReady, is throughout 3 times during the year. So we have our initial data in fall, we create our plans, whether it's tier 1 or tier 2, then we have another opportunity in December to say, how much growth have they made since? And we get a new fresh set of data so it doesn't become stale. So that allows us to continue to focus on the different things. And I'm not even speaking about the homegrown data assessments that we have as well. I don't want to discount that either. But when you start to talk about what does it look like and how does it challenge them for the following year, we're hyper-focused on understanding what the kid has now in front of us as opposed to what they did last year in the spring. We're focused on that.
Mr. Hughes?
So first off, just with the good news, I thought it was really great to see at the elementary level seeing that big jump in proficiency. Although we're not at proficiency levels yet, it was good to see that jump with the intervention program that was implemented. Just going off what Rick and Janine were saying, is there anything where we're not proficient, specifically looking at 8th grade or anywhere we're not proficient? Because we do see this has been consistent over the past couple of years. Looking at the data, what types of specific questions are our students lacking in? For science, is it at the 8th grade level, are they missing the earth science questions, the life science questions? And similarly for the mathematics questions, are we lacking in algebra questions, geometry questions?
So I would answer the question for science in 8th grade. Realize too that 8th grade, whether it's 5th grade, 8th grade, 11th grade, you're talking about 3 years worth of content knowledge that's being assessed in a snapshot of time, like Dr. Otero said. To say and limit it to one content area, I don't think it is. It's more so what the challenge we're seeing with a lot of our students is reading comprehension and grit and that stamina to be able to get through the kind of questions that are on our assessments. Our assessments are very verbose. They're incredibly challenging in terms of the visuals with that. So a lot of those factors factor into it. Where honestly, kids need to have that stamina. So that's one of the things that we are working with, is that increasing reading stamina. You know, our kids live in a world where it's instantaneous gratification. It's clickbait. They read for 10 seconds, they move on. Sitting for a standardized assessment of 3 or 4 hours in the high school is a long time for those kids to demonstrate that kind of stamina. So with respect to content, I'm confident that our teachers are covering the content. I think it's a lot of the other pieces of the puzzle that's what a lot of our interventions are layering in. We're trying to teach them stamina, trying to teach them strategies to be able to approach certain question styles, you know, and that sort of thing.
And for mathematics, I would say at the middle school level, we've really honed in. So there's 4 main domains in middle school math: numbers and operations, algebraic thinking, measurement and data, and sorry, blanking out for a second. Geometry, thank you. Thank you. And geometry. So our focus, especially when we're pulling students for the additional support, we've really seen that in numbers and operations is where they're struggling. And it's, you know, some of it does carry over from the previous year, and that's when I was speaking earlier about how we're pulling those groups in a smaller setting in various ways, whether it's in the classroom or in a support class, to address those needs in numbers and operations. And then at the high school level, there are times where we see algebra skills, because algebra is the foundation for all higher level mathematics in high school. So it's some simple algebra skills like, and we've honed in on specific standards like factoring and rational expressions to make sure that we're really emphasizing those when we get to those units in algebra, so that by the time they get to pre-calculus and higher levels, that those deficiencies aren't there.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say thank you very much for the presentation. A few comments that I have, and I think when you're on instruction and curriculum, and for some of us this is, I know Mr. De Silva, your first time hearing it. For some of us, we heard it once before because it was at our meeting just this past week. One of the things I think that's really important related, Mr. Jarvis and I have discussed science quite a few times, so I think what I'm seeing that's different, we can look at data, and data is sometimes, you know, again, a point, but I think the things that we're implementing and the thing, there's a seriousness with which it's being taken to how do we improve these things. And I think that's important, and sometimes you may not hear that. I mean, I know you read my, you know, my meeting minutes, you know, from, you know, page to page. But just in case, sometimes you don't hear that. One of the things that I wanted to point out was about this reading comprehension issue and of how the questions are presented, because one of the things, Mr. Gallo likes to talk about this quite a lot, is how ELA skills are really very important and at the foundation of math and science skills too. That sometimes we forget that it's really the, you know, the word knowledge, word fluency, you know, some of the language pieces that then translate into science and math sometimes. And that's something that you don't think about sometimes. We think it's just formulas and this and that, but the way the questions are also, you know, created, etc., make that piece of ELA fluency. And I think ELA is actually one of our probably higher performing areas. But I think Mr. Sheik and Mr. Jarvis have both spoken to that. I think the other thing that was exciting for us to see as a committee was how we could really pinpoint a program like the science program at the at JK, that very interesting, and I think I spoke about it, but again, it's hard, we talk about a lot of stuff, how we were not doing science every day at JK, right? There was a staggered approach, right? Yeah, cycle was a cycle version. Because of the direction of Mr. Bowie, they looked at scheduling, they created a team, and they took it very seriously. Now, kids are getting science instruction every day. And so one of the things that I was excited to see, Rick, was that, guess what? That's working, right? I mean, if you practice and you do it, that was something I said at the meeting, a lot of science, math, EL, all of this is practice, practice, practice at the younger ages. So that was really exciting to see the 12-point increase. Look, there's a lot to do, but it really feels and felt like the administrative team, all the supervisors, et cetera, are committed to really looking at this. And I think with our data teams and our universal screeners and all that, there is a lot of focus on this, and I think it's very encouraging. The last thing I would just say was that in the subgroups, if you looked at the subgroups, all three levels, ELA, math, and science, they all increased on average in the subgroups, right? Which was broken down based on certain factors. So again, there were some sort of pieces in that. I agree, I think we need to look at all of it, and we continue to, but it did feel actually a little more encouraging when we sat through this before. I don't know what you thought, Mr. Gallo, but there's some peaks. We have some peaks. Let's continue to focus on that and improve on that.
And I don't want anybody to kind
No,
of
I know.
misconstrue what I'm saying. I certainly
get you.
don't question anybody's commitment. I know everybody's working hard on all this stuff. And, you know, the other thing we really need to keep in mind, you know, when we're looking at test results, you know, at the end of the day, we're trying to raise successful people, right? And, you know, obviously the test results don't show everything. It's, you know, it's great that we're seeing some of the changes are making, you know, making progress. But at the end of the day, it's not just about the test. We're, you know, we want to make sure we're raising successful kids.
Yeah, I get it. Any other questions, comments? Mr. Gallo, let's close it out.
Brett is allowing me to speak for a moment.
Brett is allowing, wow, I thought that was the president's job, but okay. Mr. Gallo.
I'm just going to Chris's question specifically about science. The science test is unlike the other ELA and mathematics test. It has the three areas, the basic knowledge, the core knowledge of science, the cross-current items, you know, sort of the thinking through science, and then you have scientific method or technique. It's totally different than like just studying a subject and here, you know, here are the facts and please regurgitate them back in an answer form on a test. It's really combining the understanding of all the concepts. Like for example, just the scientific principle of, you know, why does water expand when it's heated, or why do, you know, hot things get bigger, it's colder things get smaller. You know, it's things like that. You have to then relate to something completely different because the question is presented not in that simple way that I just described. It's presented in a way that's more challenging and have different contextual elements. So the science test is, I think, a very important test because it tests the real knowledge of our students to connect all the dots from all the subject areas, from ELA, mathematics, and scientific thinking. So to me, it's a good indicator about the fact that we made these big changes in the JK, and it appears that it
working.
Changed the number. I mean, one point does make a line, but let's see what happens next year. And I'm very excited to think about what our possibilities are in elementary mathematics when we change the curriculum, which we did this year. So we did the kindergarten and a couple of pilot classes last year. We'll see what happens there. Because everyday math, I think we ran our course with everyday math. And I never understood everyday math when my kids were taking the program. But I think, and as Dr. DeToro hinted at, all the focus that will be in the middle school as well. Because it seems like our kids, you know, we're pushing them in all directions in every grade. We have a whole bunch of interventions in the elementary level, but we have to, it seems to me, is we have this thinking of running a K through 12 district, but we have gaps in the journey for our students. And in those, when we identify those gaps, are we doing something about it? So I think the middle school, we see a lot of opportunities for improvement. Is that a fair way of sort of characterizing?
Yeah, yes, yes. And there's also, yes.
Just say yes.
Yes.
Mr. Copland, did you have something to say?
No.
Oh, I didn't know if you were deferring to
No, I just
Mr.
wanted to
Gallant.
say
Okay.
Authorizer.
Yeah.
All right, again, thank you very much, Mr. Jarvis and Mr. Sheik, for that comprehensive presentation. And these are topics that we will obviously continue to discuss and look at, and we just, you know, Ms. Kraft has a lot on her plate. But thank you all for all the focus and the attention, because we really do appreciate it, and we're very committed, I think, all of us as a board to seeing the improvements and seeing where we can, and hopefully, you know, we continue to do that. Thank you very much. All right, did you have other reports, Dr.
Yes.
DeToro?
I assumed you did, all right.
Okay.
But a lot of
You
questions,
wanna
good.
take this one, 13?
Yeah, yes. I just wanted to thank the administrative team for coming. I know you guys have a lot of stuff to do at home. Please feel free, you can leave now, unless you want to hear the rest of the board meeting. You're more than welcome to stay. I know, that was a test. Fatigue. Okay.
Thank you for coming.
I like to see people in the audience.
I have a handful of things. There's a lot of great things that are happening. I know each meeting we have different celebrations. The first slide talks to the state of facilities. I did want to take a moment to thank all those who attended our state of facilities meeting, but we felt like it was extremely important that the opportunity to give feedback, really we wanted to provide that to the entire Mahwah community. I'm happy to report we received 191 responses so far from the survey. We'll send out a last call by the end of this week. And I do want to say a part of that survey asks if anyone wants to be a part of our communication committee. As we shared in the beginning of the referendum process, we think it's extremely important to make sure that all community members are informed in a lot of different ways, so they are eyes wide open going into March the 10th. I'm happy to report that around 40 people volunteered. We're taking all 40 people onto our communication committee. And we're also looking to expand outside of just our school community. So invitations were sent out to the 40 that volunteered. We sent an additional grouping of invitations out today, and we're looking forward to having a robust, if you will, committee. Next one is our GW, as we all know and love. They had their walkathon. GW's Harvesting Purpose Fest. Celebrating this year's theme is a festive and family-friendly way. Students and families enjoyed a day full of autumn fun, including pumpkin decorating and a lively on-site farm. The event not only encouraged physical activity, but also fostered a sense of community, bringing everyone together to celebrate the season and support a great cause.
Did that kid actually drive that front car?
You get to climb on it.
He had a CDL.
Okay,
He has a CDL license.
There's
Yes.
a curriculum, the license.
As we continue to move on. Betsy Ross. Betsy Ross also had a walkathon. It was a huge success. The students walked the course with pride and enthusiasm. The annual event brought a positive energy to the day, filled with smiles, laughter, and encouragement, and showcased a positive spirit that continues to make Betsy Ross such a special place for our students and our family. The third graders third graders across the district, so I'm going to add a little bit here. The third graders at Betsy Ross recently enjoyed a hands-on learning experience during Mr. Gallo. Their visit to MEVO, the educational farm in Mahwah. The students explored the garden beds, learned about composting and sustainability, and discovered how small actions can make a big impact on the environment. I do want to take a moment to thank MEVO. They have been a wonderful partner with us. Just to talk a little bit about this field trip, this is actually an opportunity that all third graders get a chance to go to this same space, but what we were able to do, and thank you to Ms. Spindler, we are able to take a grouping from the different schools, and they're able to take the field trip together. So it's an opportunity in third grade for them to come together in our efforts to create opportunities before they go into fourth grade as a whole group. So we've gotten great feedback on that, And that took a lot of people to plan it together, but Mevo is just a wonderful, wonderful partner and in our backyard. Lenape Meadows. Lenape Meadows also had a walkathon. This fall, Lenape Meadows was full of energy and community spirit. The annual walkathon brought together parents, students, and staff for a day of fun and fitness, complete with exciting activities, including a fan favorite dunk tank. During Fire Prevention Week, our local firefighters visited to teach students about fire safety and share demonstrations that combined learning with hands-on engagement. Students also enjoyed connecting with nature through Mevo, as I shared previously. And last but not least, I think I shared with all of you that Giants came to JK. This is a continuation of that experience that was all over social media. We just want to thanks to strong collaboration. Mahwah students recently participated in the NFL Play 60 initiative in an exciting and meaningful way. Fifth grader Brad Christie spent the afternoon at Giants Stadium shadowing Tyrone Tracy Jr. to experience life as a professional athlete and was even presented with Super Bowl tickets as part of this journey. This partnership exemplifies the power of giving back and the impact of community-minded leadership. We are grateful to work alongside passionate partners like the American Heart Association to provide valuable resources to promote health and well-being for our students. Looking ahead, JK will continue this partnership in February with the Kids Heart Challenge fundraiser to further inspire healthy lifestyles. That's all I have.
Thank you, Dr. DeToro. Dr. Fair, your
Yes.
report this evening?
Yes, so I'll start with passing a program on both sides of the dais. You see this program showcases the 78th North Jersey Band Festival, where Mr. Bittner, our band director, conducted the Mahwah High School Marching Band. And our talented students had the honor of serving as the finale band for the event. This prestigious performance showcased the band's exceptional musicianship, discipline, and teamwork. Representing Mahwah with pride, the students delivered an outstanding performance that was met with enthusiastic applause from the crowd at Clifton Stadium in Clifton, New Jersey. In more music and performing arts news, just last night, Mahwah High School also hosted auditioning for Bergen County High School, the high school chorus. More than 320 students auditioned, representing 34 high schools, and 185 students were accepted into the county chorus, including 11 students from Mahwah High School. So we've spoken quite a bit about team and our work with team. There was recently a water ball event hosted by the Georgie Badiel Foundation in the city. 3 of our social studies teachers from the Ridge, Donna Conrad, Morgan Ridgway, and Chrissy Shannon, were honored to participate in the event. They obviously attended. The evening raised significant funds for the foundation. Team, again, is a global nonprofit organization that educates students about global issues and humanitarianism by connecting them with underserved communities. In one image with our teachers is Georgie Badiel on the right, who started the foundation, and the gentleman on the left in that image is Jared Schechter, who founded Team. The others in the picture sit on the board for Team. And you'll see in the middle image, additionally showcased here, some of our 6th and 7th grade students from the Ridge also attended the Team 5th Annual Leadership Symposium at Montclair State University. They were also joined by 2 students from the Team Club at Mahwah High School. They were able to engage with students from other schools, listen to stories from humanitarian partners from around the world, and learn what it means to be a change maker. So awesome stuff there. We've also been making some purposeful highlights of our internship and externship program over at Mahwah High School. You'll see here, we wanted to spotlight an internship right here in the Mahwah High School cafeteria. The recent Apron and Case event was a wonderful celebration of our students' hard work and dedication to highlight students' internship experience with Pomptonian Food Services. It was heartwarming to see their smiles as they received their personalized aprons and knife cases. a tangible reminder of their progress and pride in their work. A very special thank you to Rebecca Davis. She's seen in all three of the images. She's our Pontonian Food Services lead. For her generous support of our students and our program. Her contribution made the event and has made the internship experience a memorable one for our students. So congrats to our kids, and thank you for the in-house opportunity for our students. Some fall sports highlights. I know in Nick's, via Dr. DeToro's report, he shared a few highlights related to our sports. Mahwah High School recently had the honor of hosting the quarterfinal round of the Bergen County Women Coaches Association soccer tournament. On the field, our girls soccer team celebrated a thrilling victory over Dumont on senior night, while our football team earned a strong 28-6 road win against Dwight Morrow. Our football team traveled to Nashville, defeating Franklin County High School 48-3. This was the school's first out-of-state game and victory since defeating Tappan Zee in 1959. Girls tennis earned a 10-0 record in capturing the Big North Patriot Division title. The girls also advanced to the state sectional semifinals. Boys soccer earned the number 10 seed in the Bergen County Championship Tournament and advanced to the Elite Eight. Congrats to the boys soccer for recently defeating Pascack Hills 4-0. The girls soccer team also earned the number 12 seed in the Bergen County Championship Tournament and advanced to the Sweet 16 with a defeat of Demarest in the first round. Congrats to the girls soccer team for defeating Pascack Hills 2-0 recently. The JV volleyball team just finished the season with a win against Paramus Catholic. Several athletes were nominated for North Jersey Athlete of the Week. Diego Bravo from the boys soccer team and Mandy Yazidian from the girls soccer team. And lastly, Jason Smith, who is one of our teachers at the elementary level, was announced as the Big North Patriot Division Girls Tennis Coach of the Year. So some good stuff on the fields. Our 9th grade parent night at Mahwah High School was recently hosted, providing families with an early look at the programs and course offerings available to our students, as well as information on the internship and externship program and our career pathways. We extend our gratitude to the school counseling department. We really asked them to emphasize communicating all of the great things that Mahwah High School has to offer and providing our parents with as much of a snapshot as early as possible. So this was really awesome for our 9th grade parents. You'll also see in front of you, we have the Mahwah High School academic overview booklet. It looks very different from years past. Part of our school counseling program obviously includes this sort of update, which is at each of your places to review. And lastly, you'll see here, I know some of you are alumni, if you haven't signed up already, you'll see this is another effort from our school counseling department that encourages our alumni and to join our alumni directory. They recently resent this notice to its alumni community to generate renewed interest. So this gives alumni the opportunity to reconnect, engage, celebrate what's happening professionally and personally, provide support in terms of volunteering with any of our programs, and to obviously network. So this directory is an important step toward cultivating more lifelong engagement with our graduates. And that is my report this evening. Thank you.
Did you get that QR code there, Mr. De Silva, for the alumni directory? Yeah, I'm good. Very good, excellent. Thank you very much, Dr. Fair. All right, my report this evening. I wanted to just take a moment to report that myself, Mr. Gallo, Mr. Denise, and Mr. Copland attended the New Jersey School Boards Association annual meeting last week, along with Dr. DeToro. Many of the workshops and seminars that were comprehensive over a 3-day period. I think some of the highlights were talking about referendums. One I attended was, I thought, very interesting, talking about AI, or artificial intelligence, and how that is going to slowly come into the classrooms. It's already impacting classrooms, how we expand on that, and how all that's done ethically and responsibly. So there were some very good presentations. I also attended the keynote speaker, who is Joe Theismann. I don't know if all of you did. I did go to that one. One of the things, you know me and my little quotes, but, well, it's interesting because I grew up in Virginia. So, you know, at that time, the Washington Redskins, that was the time I think I was in Virginia with Joe Theismann as the quarterback at that time. Anyway, one of the things that I thought really spoke to Mahwah was an acronym he used for team. He said, together, everyone achieves more. So, I don't know, reminded me of Mahwah Connects and all the themes we have. I thought that was very interesting. I want to just wish all our families a happy Diwali who were celebrated Diwali last week, our Hindu, Jain, and Sikh families. And really, honestly, I really want to highlight and say thank you to Dr. DeToro and the administrative team for continuing to look at how we maintain inclusivity in our district. Because, again, I've spoken to it several times, but you know, that's taken time, and it's under your leadership that we have now holidays for some of these, you know, particular religions. So I just want to say thank you on behalf of that community. Have a safe, happy Halloween. Enjoy all the Halloween parades. And that's all I have for today. Oh, and please vote next week. You do have 3 members standing for Board of Education positions. 2 are incumbents, and 1 is a new person coming into it, and you can vote for up to 3. So again, thank you to those who run for the Board of Education. We do appreciate it. All right. Board member, oh no, Board Committee reports. Anyone? Mr. Gallo, Mr. Copeland.
I'm just going to be real quick and just piggyback on what Dr. Turl mentioned about the State of the Facility Survey. In addition to the survey, in the email that went out, we also shared a link to the district's website highlighting all the facility upgrades that have happened over the last 6 years. And I encourage everyone to go on there and check it out. If you haven't seen it, it's on the website underneath the buildings and grounds page. It's organized really, really well. There's pictures, there's videos, it outlines how much was spent on all the projects, and if you start adding up, it's multi-millions of dollars over the last 6 years that this board has spent on facilities to continue to enhance them. So please check that out. Dr. Turl took everything else I was going to say, so we're good. Thank you.
And Brett, you make a really good point. A lot of information that is discussed at our board meetings, that presentations, for example, today's testing presentation, et cetera, it's all on our website. And I think, a couple of years ago, we revamped the website so it's more user-friendly. And there's a lot of information. You could do a real deep dive on our website. And there's really a lot of information on there. So if you have a chance, please do that when you have a chance. Or if you have additional questions about presentations, things that are brought up at meetings. Mr. Gallo, do you have a report this evening? Mr. Deans? No. Okay. All right, so quickly, and I will be quick, instruction curriculum meeting. We did meet this past week, and we did have the data presentation, which we have gone through already. I just wanted to give a highlight on our reflective practice protocol. And this is our evaluation tool that is used for teachers. You need to be a highly effective teacher to qualify, but very exciting that there was an increase from 30 participants last year when this program was piloted to 103 participants this year. So thank you, Dr. Fair and Ms. Kraft, for your work on that. PD Day reflection, Ms. Kraft reported it was delivered virtually because there were some weather issues. AI was a popular topic. and universal screeners such as iReady, and additional screeners that we may need to use to be compliant with the state. There was also conversations about small group instruction, tier 2 intervention plans, and this topic of cross-curricular skills between subjects. So trying to infuse science in math or social studies in science and those kinds of things. So that was another topic. Data teams and our tier 1 interventions. Ms. Kraft reported that she visited the data teams at the various schools as they develop their tier 1 interventions. And the hope will be that some of the work, K-5, will be now embedded in grade level meetings, and 6-12 into departmental meetings for next year. And lastly was Parent Academy update. I just want to give a shout out that, again, a lot of useful information that Ms. Kraft has created a good series. Please go to the website to look at what's upcoming. There are ones that are specific for K through 5, ones for secondary. And again, this is for you. This is to give you information if you have questions. These are broad topics that hopefully pique some interest. So please participate. Some are Zoom, some are in person, but we just encourage you because really it's a service that is being there for parents and to just get more information. So thank you. All right, board member remarks. Mr. Gallo.
Just a quickie, one of the items that wasn't mentioned that I think we're really proud of, I wasn't able to attend, is that the high school hosted a marching band festival a couple weeks ago that was, unfortunately, there was a little bit of weather activity that dampened everybody's enthusiasm, but it was sort of a last minute invitation that John Pascal got at the end of August from another district, and thankfully, we had the facilities and the wherewithal to be able to pull it off. And thank you to all the volunteers, the traffic directors, the ticket sellers, the arrangers, the logistics folks who made it all happen. And everyone I spoke to who did attend thought it was really great, so.
Lots of alumni participation too.
Ah, was that you?
No,
Oh,
band
Oh, band alumni, yes, band
Oh.
alumni, yeah.
Excellent.
So another great event that we were able to host.
Excellent. Thank you. Mr. Coughlin?
Yeah, just two really quick shout outs, and again, to piggyback on Dr. Naturo's report, I want to congratulate all the K through 3 HSOs for their successful walkathons. It's an annual event that's been going on for decades. I remember Kevin Olbert pulling out his medal for walking the most laps when he was at GW back in the day. But it's their most significant fundraiser of the year. Raises probably the most money that they're going to have to be able to give back to the school. But it's also a big community building day. So congratulations to them. And also congratulations to the MSF for a successful run. What was that? I think this past Sunday. So thank you for all that they do. That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Coughlin. Anyone else? All right, let's take old business, number 17A. This is the minutes from October 8th. I need a motion on the floor. Mr. Gallo, seconded by Mr. Denise. And I need roll call, please.
Dr. Morthy,
Yes.
Mr. De Silva Jr.,
Yes.
Mr. Kesmarsky, Mr. Gallo,
Yes.
Mrs. Davenero, Mr. Denise.
Yes.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mrs. Ting Jansen,
Yes.
Mr. Coughlin.
Yes.
All right, let's take 18, new business, other. Take roll. A to, let's see, we have Q today?
Dr. Morthy,
Yes. Oh, no, I need a motion on the floor. Mr. Gallo, second by Mr. Hughes. I got excited too, it's okay.
okay, Dr. Morthy,
Yes.
Mr. De Silva Jr.,
Yes.
Mr. Gallo,
Yes.
Mr. Denise,
Yes.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mrs. Ting Jansen,
Yes.
Mr. Coughlin.
Yes.
All right, let's take 19, new business personnel. Let's take A through W. I need a motion on the floor. Mr. Hughes, second by Mr. Denise. Thank you. Roll call.
Dr. Morphy,
Yes.
Mr. De Silva Jr.,
Yes, and thank you to the parent volunteers that I see on the agenda.
Check it, check it, check
Yeah,
it.
I gotta go first next time.
Well, I'm not used to going first, actually. That took a minute.
Mr. Gallo,
Yes.
Mr. Denise,
Yes.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes.
Mrs. Ting Jansen,
Yes.
Mr. Copeland.
Yes.
All right, public questions or comment. Public participation at board meetings is in accordance with bylaw 0167. At this time, members of the public may ask questions or make a comment on educational issues or school matters of community interest. As a matter of fairness, you are asked to limit your questions to no more than one and your remarks to no longer than 3 minutes. If you are here representing a group, please identify yourself, the group, and your position in the group. If you are here as an individual, please provide us your name and address. All right, I need a motion to open the meeting to the public. Mr. De Silva, second by Mr. Copeland. We are now officially open to the public.
Hi, my name is Omar Mohammed, resident of 9 Surrey Lane, Mahwah. I just wanted to bring in a little concern about the emails that we get as a parent between Dr. DeToro and the other principals. The emails that we get on our phones, they are not phone friendly, mobile friendly. You have to zoom in and out of these emails, and there's multiple links that you have to click to get to the actual message. Unlike all of our other emails, we usually just get a content and then there's an attachment at the bottom which you click and then it opens up. So that kind of format makes it easy and uniform when you're reading a message, rather than, like I'm looking at an email. First of all, I have to zoom in to read the message, and then there's several clicks that I have to click, and then that takes you to a different link where you read the message, and then you gotta come back to the email and then click a different link to get the different message. So if there's some way to streamline the email messages, sort of make the emails more mobile friendly, that would be very useful in getting the message to us, because we're busy throughout the day. We just want the message right there in the email, and then if there's an attachment, click on it, get to the message, call it a day. Rather than trying to decipher, and God forbid if you have to go back to that email and then look for those URLs to get the message. So just a little issue that the parents, my family, my mom, my wife and we face while reading these messages. So if there's something that could be done to make it mobile friendly, iPhone friendly, I know.
That might be too specific, but thank you, Mr. Mohammed, for that. And I do have to tell you that communication continues to be something that we've discussed as a board, we've discussed in the past, we continue to, and we appreciate the feedback, and we've taken a lot of strides forward, I would say, in email communications, but we do appreciate the feedback. Thank you.
My full name is Asad Yas Khan, 1185 Sycamore Lane, Mahwah, New Jersey. I wanted to thank the board for doing what they're doing, especially the internship and externship program. My daughter, who graduated last year, Fiza Khan, she did the externship junior year going to senior year. And it actually helped her stay on path. She wants to become a pharmacist. And that program really helped her over the summer, junior to senior summer, to learn, work in the pharmacy and understand what it takes. And she is fully laser focused on that's what she wants to do. So I want to congratulate the board for coming up with the program and everybody who helped. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Khan, for your feedback, and good to hear. We definitely appreciate the positive feedback. Thank you very much. All right, I need motion to close the meeting to the public. Mr. Copeland and Mr. Hughes, we do not require executive sessions. A motion to adjourn, Mr. Copeland and Mr. Hughes. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.